figure out what side of your body that you were always hitting, what side of yourself you were always having problems with, and relate that to the intellect or the emotional side of yourself. Do I hear any feedback from anybody? Yes, Jean?
I bump the left side a lot, but I wonder if that has to do with what went on before.
Yeah, probably. But also, what is the left side related to? The right side of the brain, which is what? That's right. So all that's saying to you is you just have to, and see, this can happen subconsciously, Jean. Something that you're not aware of, you just have to get your intellect more into play. The other side, then, you have to get your emotion more into play. And it speaks to you specifically. Yes?
I don't quite understand what you're saying.
Okay, that's all right. The right side of the brain controls the left side of the body. The right side of the brain is the emotional side, okay? The left side of the brain is intellectual, controls the right. We are all, this is not anything metaphysical, this is actually physiologically we're made up of this. Emotion and intellect. If my emotions are not in control, alright, or my intellect is blocked, my whole left side is going to be screwed up. Okay?
That's the part I don't quite understand. You said your emotions need to be more in play. Give me an example.
In control in this case. Alright, in other words, if I go out of whack, if I am nervous and strung out and I have no control anymore, I do not have any more intellectual reasoning, then I am out of control. I am beside myself. Alright? That's what we say. Your body will start showing the effects of this on the left side of the body. You will cut your left hand, you'll hurt your left foot, you'll have an incision on the left side of your body, you'll burn your left foot, hand, whatever. Do you see what I'm saying?
Now how can the emotions, how does it, give me an example of the emotions.
Emotions make you sick. I'm going to scream and yell at you so hard I'll make you cry and you get sick at your stomach.
I meant to say intellectual. Yeah.
Oh, on the intellectual side? Okay, I was getting to that. But I was trying to get to this whole side. Alright. Yes.
Repeat what you started to say before you get to the right side. The emotions?
The emotions get out of control. You get so stressed. You get
That's
so...
the left side of your brain.
This is the right side of your brain controlling the left side of your body.
And that's the emotion.
That's the emotion. If you're left-handed, it's opposite. Just switch it. Yeah. If you're left-handed, it's opposite. Okay? So your right side of your body would start showing it.
For emotion.
For emotions. Okay? They always say that left-handed people are the only ones in their right mind.
I've been arguing that for 60 years.
Yeah. What I always love to see is left-handed forks. That always kills me. Okay. Now, if you have the left side of your brain, which is the intelligence, okay, it's controlling the right side. If you're right-handed, alright, and you constantly are hurting the right side of yourself, you really are not utilizing your intellect. In other words, your intellect is still submerged. You're not using your rationale. The emotion will do it on both sides. Oh, yes. But one side, the emotion is controlling. The other side means that your intellect is just not taking any control. Do you understand?
I understand what you're saying, but I don't know if I really understand it. But that's okay, I'll fix it.
Well, you mean you understand, but you don't know if you really believe it. Is that what you're saying?
I believe it, but, all of us are very intellectual. So
No, we're not. Whoever gave you that idea? If you were intellectual, you wouldn't be down here, would you? If we were really smart, do you think we'd be in a body? I doubt it. I think we're all kind of stupid if you want to know the truth about this. Bye-bye. What happened? Did the tape go off?
Turn it down a little bit.
Yeah, it was too loud.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Could it be told you that you're suppressing your emotions?
You're suppressing your emotions. Submerge means suppression.
No, I mean, if you're hurting your emotional side.
No, that's out of whack. The other side is submerged.
So you're not balanced.
No, you're not balanced. You're just out of whack. I think it's enough if you know that one side of your body is being hurt. Something's going on with your emotion, okay? I think that's enough that you have to know that. But even doctors, now Nirvana Foundation as well as Nova, Nirvana Foundation's been dealing with that for 17 years. The medical profession is just now coming on in the last 3 years. And we've been dealing with the Nova Spiritus for the last 2 years heavily. But it's always been our biggest push. Get your intellect and emotion into sync. Otherwise, you're going to be physically sick, mentally screwed up, and emotionally just shot. Because emotion down here is the most powerful experiencing tool we have, and it's the greatest and the most wonderful gift we have from God, but it's also the one that can get us in the most trouble. Yes?
I have one here that I can't seem to figure out. My hands are steady, but my handwriting is shaky. It's like I have the shakes, but my hands are not. It's just when I write.
And you're right-handed.
Yes.
Does anybody have any idea what that would mean? He's writing right-handed, and it's the left side of his brain that's controlling that. Patricia, what did you want to say?
Well, my first thought was spirit right through him.
Could be, or else his emotions are controlling that part of him, and the emotions are wiggly. So emotionally, you're showing it in your handwriting. Now, it's true what she says, you might be trying to channel. But do you feel at any given point that, at least in the last few years, because you've had some problems with your health, do you feel that you're intellectually up to snuff yet?
I haven't given that much thought.
I think that's what you should be here for. I think we should give an awful lot of attention to the intellectual control. Not mine, but yours. And really know that intellectually in control, you can make yourself sick or well. When once we really believe that, it sounds very Christian Science, but it absolutely is a fact, and more doctors are coming upon that. All the physicians, 76 of them, I just added another one, are absolutely of the fact that they are nothing but technicians, and the person either dies or gets well of their own accord, and gets as sick as they want to or as well as they wish to be. A person can go in for a tonsillectomy, not die. Another person can go in for open heart surgery, come out of it. See, that should tell us something about the power of the mind. How many times have we heard of a healthy, red-blooded American female, male, Greek, whatever, goes in for a little tiny operation, dies on the table. Somebody else goes in for major surgery, and it's fine. Yes?
One more comment. Could it possibly be that what writing I am doing is going in another direction instead of what I should be concentrating?
Yeah, but see, that would be emotionally out of control. That's exactly what I'm saying. Your intellect is not controlling at this point. And the only way you can see it wiggle is maybe through your handwriting. See? Yeah. Oh, I knew you would. I had all the faith in the world in this. I think you were making it too complicated. See, everything that shows up as illness in our body is showing us that emotionally or intellectually we're out of control. And usually it's think of the intellect is the executive I am, executive ego, which means I am. If that has ever been inundated, thrown for a loop, pushed down, suppressed, or like I said, over-inundated, then you're going to start showing sickness.
How much is this illness that we bring on ourselves?
99 and 9/10% are the illnesses we bring on ourselves. I shouldn't even give it 1/10.
But that wasn't all my question. How much do we charge?
Good question. You have charted certain illnesses in your life. The one thing we don't realize is that, like I said last week, Why can't we say I'm going to get 15 minutes flu instead of 24 hours? See, we might have charted an accident, but we don't have to have it head on. In other words, instead of breaking your hip, can't you sprain your ankle? Yeah. Yeah. The final one you can't get out of. That's the exit point. I mean, you say, there's the due date. You were due back home. Get your tail back here. Okay, was there anything else anybody want to ask me about their illness or certain areas? Yes.
I've been really tired of it.
No, but I'm telling you what I'm seeing an awful lot of, more so in the reading room than I've ever seen before, is women having iron deficiency. I've never seen a time, I don't know whether it's stress factor, spring, but I mean, I've read the spring of the year for 35 years. I've tried a little iron, especially in your case. Yeah. But spring is a tough time. Spring and fall are tough times for everybody. And this flu that we have going around now, you've really got to program out of it because it's really a nightmare. It's really a mess. And you almost have to go around every day saying, I do not want it, nor will I put up with it. And it works. I'm telling you, it works.
So I have a situation. I had eczema since I was 10 days old. Does that mean that it was programmed in?
No, you were burned terribly bad in past life. You ought to release that.
So that it's something that
Came over like the little kid I told you about with leukemia? Yeah. Thyroid, kelp. You mean what to cure it or help?
Well, I was thinking of terms of...
What physiological thing does it relate
to
to?
the right, the left, that kind of thing.
Well, see, whenever you get to the meridian of the body, you're running right down the middle, okay? Which means that there's an imbalance. And most people, if they're going to go off at all, go right down endocrine gland system. Thyroid, pancreas, pituitary, pineal gland means that you're still off. In other words, the motor system of your body is having to work extra hard over some kind of emotional display. Yeah. People who are very giving and very humanitarian prone run problems of thyroid, hypoglycemia, weight.
So the kelp can help your own stuff.
Yeah. The nice thing about kelp that's so much better than Synthroid or Levithar or any of those other things is that synthetic thyroid, if you take too much of it, can create tachycardia and a lot of other things. Kelp, you're very good within your range, an adult, taking 6, 7 a day, and once you don't use, you'll urinate out. And that way you don't get heart palpitations and all kinds of strange things. It's a strange thing what we do to our medicine. If you really get nervous and upset, you can take drops of valerian root, which will never hurt you, but the minute it's synthesized into volume, you got big trouble. But valerian root is where volume comes from. In its natural form, it is non-addictive. It creates a mild sedative factor, not the stuff that's in powder form because it'll stink up your kitchen, but in drop form. But the minute they synthesize it and put it in volume, diazepam, you've really got problems. Yes, Rita.
My illness seems to manifest almost always in my throat. What, is that also an emotional imbalance?
Oh, absolutely. And people who have throat problems usually are because they can't ventilate what's wrong with them. They can't get it out. And it's almost like unshed tears. And that has nothing to do with crying. I mean, it's really getting out from the very guts of yourself, so to speak, what's bothering you. It's called, no, literally. Haven't you ever held tears back and your throat just feels like it's just going to go? I think we ought to talk about different signs, though, and I'm not an astrologer. But we won't go through all of them tonight because it's too complex. But I found it to be very, very definitive that people that come in on certain astrological signs have certain weaknesses. And I'll actually have to get the list out because I only remember a few. Libra's kidneys, Taurus's throat, Leo's chest or heart, Virgo's stomach and bowel area, Aries' head, Pisces is feet. And I honestly can't remember the rest of them, so don't ask me. But I'll get it for you next week. What? What are you? I don't remember what rules Aquarius. I really don't. Is there anybody Aquarius that remembers? Circulatory. Yeah, circulatory. Yes.
So that validates exactly what you said. My father's a Pisces, and all he complains about are every night his feet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you remember Gemini?
What?
Did you say what Gemini was?
No, I didn't, because I don't know. I just remember a few of them. Yes.
When I was thinking of what I've had, I have allergies that are only in the mask area. But I don't, which side will I blame it on?
The mask area. She said it's like a mask. I would think about, what don't you want to look at anymore? What are you sick of looking at? Asthmatics always are linked to mother. Always an overprotective mother or mothering of some kind. Always is linked to mother. Well, rarely. I know we like to pawn it off on somebody else's mother, but too bad it does.
Would that carry to an older person as well?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Yeah, very, well, some of it has to do with the lousy mother in a past life, but it also has to do with a very and the mother can be dead. The mother can be dead, but it's an unresolved conflict the child is carrying. Yes.
Is there a way to resolve it even though they are past?
Oh, sure. Yeah, you when you go to bed at night, you say, whatever conflict, Mom, I have with you, whatever you put on me or I put on you, do it as a blanket saying, I want it to be released from white light of the Holy Spirit around me. I've had so many asthmatics that are just instantly cured. Yes.
I periodically get eczema, and sometimes it's only one finger or another, and it moves around. Is there any symbolism about a particular finger?
Which finger does it hit?
Oh, I mean, it moves around. Right now it's on the first finger.
Yeah, but I don't think it's so much fingers as we're talking hands. Okay? And hands, what are you handling? What are you touching? What is really getting the point that's untouchable to you? What situation in your life? Well, sometimes we don't know. Sometimes we don't know who the pain in the neck is from. And it's always a who. It's not a situation, it's a person. The person is causing the pain in the neck. See, once we get that through our head, people, unfortunately, make us sick. Situations do not make us sick like people.
We have situations that from childhood, and they were resolved, they just keep recycling them through life.
Oh, yes. In fact, all our patterns keep recycling through life. If you don't beat a pattern, it comes in another form. The dragon might come short and fat, and if you don't get it, he'll come tall and thin. You see what I mean? It's the same dragon. He's just wearing different clothing. Oh, yeah. Haven't you ever said, I thought I passed this damn thing, and here it comes again. And there's a familiar ring about it. And we're not smart enough to ever pin it down. We say, wait a minute, isn't this the same bill of fare, so to speak, that I've been dealing with? Yeah, I do it too, and I think, wait a minute, there's something familiar about this. You bet there is. You didn't pass it right.
That's like women marrying the same kind of men.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think I told you the story about my nail girl. She said she was dealing with a roommate that was just awful, and she turned to me in the middle of the conversation. She said, now wait, Sylvia, I know I'm going to have to deal with someone else just like her, but right now I choose not to deal with this. I'll wait till the cycle turns. And I thought how neat that was because she absolutely knew what she was doing. It's okay, I don't choose to do the test with you, but I may do the test with you. So, but I'm still going to do it. But you can certainly pick your boxing ring, and you can certainly pick your opponent. There's nothing wrong with that, as long as you know it. I may fail at this marriage, but here it comes again. Do you see what I mean? Or child, or whatever. You never escape without passing it. I mean, you go through it, and if you don't, you come back and you do it again. Yes?
What about immune dysregulation and its connection to
sorry, I didn't even catch the whole first part of what you said.
Immune dysregulation and its connection with...
You're trying to reject yourself. Trying to reject yourself. See, so many allergies are trying to reject ourselves. I think the spirit in the human body is constantly trying to reject it anyway. That's why we have to be so watchful not to let our house disintegrate on us. Of course, eventually it disintegrates. But I mean, to keep it at its best optimum. Because I think we're always fighting. You want to look at a larger scale, I think the soul is always trying to fight against the immune system of the body. Because the soul is really too large to fit into the body.